What's up everybody, another beautiful day in the Dragon Isles, and today I just wanted to do a quick update to the physical Gamba build, now with more Stormstrikes. Now I've been using this build for Mythic Terras Reclears, Mythic Broodkeeper and Rasageth Progress, but it works great for any raid difficulty as long as the fight is mainly single target damage, so even if it's normal or heroic you can still slap with this. So this build has an insane damage ceiling as it's all based on your procs, or mostly, and everything we do rotation-wise revolves around getting more Stormstrike to get more Ascendancy procs. Stormstrike! That being said, even though there's a lot of RNG behind getting an insane pull or a decent pull, this build still does good single target damage even if your procs are super sad. But yeah, the real magic happens when the procs roll in. So for this build, I have a link in the description below, but it all revolves around Stormstrike, Wind Fury, and being able to reset Stormstrike. So you have things like 1 point in Legacy of the Frost Witch. Whenever you spend 10 Maelstrom, you reset Stormstrike. Deeply rooted elements with static accumulation and Thorim's Invocation, so that whenever you Stormstrike, you have a 7% chance to proc Ascendancy, turning your Stormstrikes into Wind Strikes. And anytime you Wind Strike, you spend 5 Maelstrom, and you gain 2 Maelstrom every 2 seconds during Ascendancy. Now on top of this, we have things like Storm Flurry and Storm's Wrath for more Stormstrike and Wind Fury procs, Storm Blast for more sustained damage from Stormstrike, as well as 2 points in Elemental Assault for more Stormstrike damage and Maelstrom generation, as well as all the Wind Fury talents, Maelstrom talents, Feral Spirit, and Witch Doctor's Ancestry, but no Capstone, as we want physical damage every time on our Wolfies, and we don't need Alpha Wolfies AoE. And then finally, we get Elemental Blast. So how this build plays, I am again tempted to just yell Stormstrike and be done with the guide, and I'd almost be telling the truth if I did, but there's a little more to it than just Stormstrike. Not a lot more though. So pretty much you want to keep Flame Shock up and refresh with Lava Lash when it's about to expire. Otherwise you want to Stormstrike. If Stormstrike resets Stormstrike, you Stormstrike again and again and again and again. You don't even stop Stormstriking if you've capped Maelstrom. Instead you spend it whenever Stormstrike doesn't reset itself, so that you trigger Legacy of the Frost Witch and it resets Stormstrike so you can continue slapping it. That's it. That's all you do. Stormstrike. And if or when Ascendancy procs, you just want to smash Wind Strike. Depending on your haste and what cooldowns are up, you'll either be Wind Striking every single global or every other global. In the case of every other global, you want to use things like Ice Strikes and Lava Lash whenever Wind Strike is on cooldown, and possibly a 10-stacked Elemental Blast to force a reset on Wind Strike. And outside of Ascendancy, if there's ever a moment where you can't Stormstrike, you don't have enough Maelstrom to trigger Legacy of the Frost Witch, well then you Ice Strike, Sunder, Lava Lash, Frost Shock, Flame Shock as fillers. Like I said, whenever you can't Stormstrike, aka it's on cooldown, and you have 10 Maelstrom, you want to first prioritize Elemental Blast. If you have no Elemental Blast charges, you use Lightning Bolt. But yeah, you pretty much only use these spenders to reset Stormstrike, because all you do is just fish for Ascendancy procs. Now as far as our cooldown goes, Feral Spirit and Doom Winds you want to use on cooldown and always combined, unless you have to hold either Feral Spirit or Doom Winds for like 20-30 seconds for him to line up, but holding them for like 10 is fine. And during Doom Winds, you want to of course again spam as many Stormstrikes as possible, and if you can't Stormstrike, you either Ice Strike or Sunder, as they also trigger Wind Fury during this. And again, I greatly recommend trying out the rotational add-on Hekili, which very accurately predicts what you should be slapping next. So it's great when you want to learn new rotations or get better at a class, especially Enhancement Shaman. Now as far as stats and gear goes, haste and mastery all the way. More haste means more procs, means more Stormstrike, means more Ascendancy, means more damage. Haste is just really good, so getting haste trinket helps a ton as well, like Kurog trinket for attack speed, Temple of Jade Serpent for haste proc, Knock Hood trinket for haste plus agility proc, and of course trinkets like Whispering Icon, Grief Torch, or Puzzle Box works really well as well. But as always, do sim yourself, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've used this mainly on Terra Weakauras, Broodkeeper, and Razageth progress. Broodkeeper I was only nuking boss, not doing ads. Had I been on ads, I would have played Elementalist build instead. Razageth works since 90% of the fight is single target. The only ads are during the intermissions, and we can still do valuable single target damage during those intermissions. And if Ascendancy does proc, we can chain out Chain Lightnings for some bursty AoE, not to mention that Ascendancy proc itself does a ton of damage on AoE. But yeah, that's RNG, but even if it doesn't proc, we still smash single targets. And if you aim to use this for say Mythic Razageth progression, you need to remove 1 point from Molten Assault and put it into Feral Lunge instead, or you will die. And due to that, you'll have to manually Flame Shock whenever it expires. Worst. Now, if you're wondering which build is the best between Elementalist and the Physical Gamba for single target, my answer is yes. TLDR, Elementalist is a lot more consistent, but the Physical Gamba has a higher potential if the procs are with you. Now I recommend play around with both, see what works best for you, but if you just want to smash Stormstrike and have the time of your life, then for sure try this build. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this Physical Gamba raid guide. Now for my UI, I will link my default UI code you can import in edit mode in game, as well as most of the main Weakauras I use for enhancement. I can't share all of my Weakauras nor my plater settings as I've gotten them from subbing to now on Twitch, so that's where you can get them. But yeah, let me know what you think of this enhancement build and if you've tried it on any bosses. If you have any questions at all, hit me up here on Twitter or become a patron or Twitch sub and get access to the Stankie Gaming Discord, which is the fastest way to get a hold of me if you have any questions, and it's also filled with a lot of useful info and helpful people for any of your raiding or class needs. Don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, ring that notification bell. I'm also streaming all my progression raiding on Twitch Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, Stankie Gaming, and some rando keys in between. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Stormstrike!